Now, Parliament is set to resume sittings today afternoon after a month-long recess, during which parliamentary committees continued with their scheduled business under their consideration. Now, upon resumption, the House is expected to, among other things, consider the Finance Bill 2023, which provides ways of financing the 23-24 budget. Our political affairs reporter Emmanuel To is in Parliament and now joins us live with the latest. To, good afternoon. Bring us up to speed with, of course, the Parliament sitting happening today.
Well, thank you very much, Fatia. It is becoming a busy place, and it will be a very busy place going into the next days remaining in this month, because the Finance Bill 2023 has to be passed before 30th of this month, before the next financial year. And the members of Parliament are already here. The National Assembly is the one that has the mandate to deal with this issue that has had so many people having varied opinions as to whether the Finance Bill 2023 that plans to add some taxes on Kenyans is going to pass or not. And I'm here with some of the members of Parliament who have voiced their concerns about the bill, and I'm joined by the Woman Rep of Nairobi County, Esther Passaris, who supports some sections of the Finance Bill. Mheshimiwa, your party does not support the Finance Bill. You've decided to take a different opinion. Why?
Well, I think our party has voiced opinions and sentiments on certain parts of the finance bill. And also they've raised concerns about the cost of living, right? And the hardships and the promises that were made by the Kenya Kwanza government, right? So that's the party. I think you saw the interview by Baba yesterday, where he said the position of the party will be stated on Thursday. Right? So we're waiting for the final draft to be tabled. I believe that there's been a lot of discussions, and I hope that the government has been listening to the sentiments of people and the partners and the private sector, because, you know, SDG number 17 is about partnerships. When you're running a government, you're not running it in isolation of everyone. You're running it with all your partners. So if the government has heard the sentiments of the people, then they will make some adjustments. We know that the government requires money to run itself. Right now, we know that, and we see the headlines, and they're screaming that you've got cars that are grounded, you've got prisoners that don't have food, you've got hospitals that probably are running out of money. You know, you have all those expenditures that need to be catered for. Now, when it comes to housing, I think the housing, because of the way it was structured and people not able to really understand it properly, it became a big confusion. Now, if you're a labor-intensive company, obviously you're thinking, you know, if I'm going to be paying $2,500 for all my senior management, I'll be having this big amount to remit. But, you know, it's a tax deductible. All right. And if you're making profits, then I think it's a little sacrifice for us to ensure that all our people living in the slums, which is over 80% of our population, actually end up with decent housing. SDG says we need to give decent housing to our people, decent jobs to our people. So we need to look into that. Now, here in Nairobi, a few months ago, a little girl, Ashley, in Dagoretti North, was washed away by the raging river. We've never found her body. Now, for me, that's because she lived in a tin hut house right on the edge of the riverbank. So we need proper housing. Okay, I also say that in the housing, I know they're going to work with private sector in PPPs. We need to have a good chunk of those houses, since if Kenyans are going to be the ones contributing, we need a good chunk of those houses to be social houses, rent to own. We need to make sure that rent to own is not tied to your employment contract. If you're a civil servant, it is tied to the ability to have family members who are employed to also come in and help out. Yeah.
Okay, Mheshimiwa, so in a nutshell, do you support this bill or you don't support it?
You know, when I say I support for me, housing is key for me. I feel that the government could remove certain aspects. You know, they made some reductions. I'm a landlord. So they went from 10% to 7.5. I'd rather he goes back to 10% because we were not complaining, right? It was an easy way to manage our rental income, and then get back to 10%. That 2.5% take it to housing. Maybe reduce the amount that you're asking to start taxing, because some people say they don't have the pay slip. But I want somebody who's earning 10,000 to understand that only 300 shillings will come out of your pay slip. All right? Yeah.
Lastly, if this bill passes through, because it seems it will go through, looking at the numbers in Parliament. Are you going to join in the mandamanos and the demonstrations that may be called upon?
Okay, so I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder from 2017, and I've never recovered, and it gets worse. So I personally will not join mandamanos. I believe that, everybody has a right to express themselves and to go out and demonstrate, but personally, for health reasons, I do not go for demonstrations. But I also feel that we can sit down and talk. Now, we've got some hardcore on both sides. This hardcore saying, oh, we don't want handshake. Baba doesn't want a handshake. Baba wants the country governed well. Baba wants the people to get what they want. We saw today in the headlines that prices of food are going to go up, and they will go up before they come down. So that's the reality of the world that we live in.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, that has been Esther Parsaris, the woman representative for Nairobi County. She will be part of those who will be voting for or against that bill when it is finally tabled. Remember, we have some activities that are lined up today in Parliament where the Finance and Planning Committee is supposed to present a report of the public participation that has been going on, where a majority of those who presented their comments opposed the finance bill in its totality, and some recommended some amendments that the government has said that could be effected when the bill comes for the second reading at the committee of the whole House. And so we are waiting to see what will be transpiring today when that report will be tabled. But the committee or this bill has to be passed or rejected before 30th of this month, because we are starting another financial year with about 3 trillion shillings of a budget that needs funding. So that is the much we have here from Parliament. Over to you, Fatia.
Right, that is, of course, Emmanuel Toh there at the Parliament buildings. Remember, the Parliament is resuming sitting this afternoon. He'll be bringing us up to date with that particular report. The Senate Committee on Health is today probing and deliberating on the alleged irregularities surrounding the 3.7 billion mosquito net scandal that was said to be marred with interference. And the former health PS, Dr. Josephine Boru, former KEMSA officials are among those being grilled by the Senate Health